Hi, we're joined today by Mason Middle School Principal Tonya McCall, Dr. Kist-Kline, Mason City School Superintendent, and Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Jonathan Cooper. Gail, what happened that brings us here today?
Well, we had a teacher who made a thoughtless, offensive comment, and the student that comment was directed at took her to account. And when she realized the gravity of the situation, she apologized. And we feel like we need to apologize as well to this student, but to all those that we've let down, so that we can begin to move forward from this situation.
Tonya, why was there a delay in the teacher being placed on leave?
Well, there's really not a single reason for the delay. What we did learn is that it took us a while to gather all the information about the situation, and then as a part of that process, we determined that we needed to do more. And as a result of that, we realized that because of that, and us wanting to do more, then we'll behave differently in the future.
Jonathan, how can the district do a better job of hearing and acting on parents' concerns?
Well, first of all, this is always an area that we can improve on, and that is listening to our parents. So when they bring concerns and feedback, truly understanding the concern and the impact that has on the family and the student, and then responding appropriately and systematically. This is something that we really want to be partners on, and there's an area for us to improve.
Gail, you've shared that there's been an uptick in the number of racially and culturally insensitive comments in our schools and community. What can the students and staff in Mason do about that?
I think first and foremost, just be aware and then be prepared to respond, because sometimes we hear things and maybe we don't give it the weight that we might if we understood that words matter. And so even though it's just a term or language that we maybe aren't familiar with, that we need to be more mindful about what's being said, and then we can begin to address some of those issues more effectively.
Tonya, what are some of the training and resources that the district uses to help staff be aware of prejudice and bias?
Well, there's a variety of resources that are out there that are available for us to use, and we certainly, first and foremost, want a good match in whatever that resource is. But I will say, as a district, we recognize that the greatest impact of whatever training that we choose to select is that we find something that allows the teacher to personally embrace the idea of, in this case, the culturally responsive practices. So something that allows them to engage in that conversation and look at themselves personally. And then secondly, being able to have something that applies to their classroom, so that there's some instructional components, so they have some tools that they'll be able to work with, so that there's some long-term impact of whatever training that we provide for that teacher or for any teacher. And then as a district, for us to be able to look at what do we provide institutionally to make sure that there's some long-term impact of that professional development moving forward.
Jonathan, how should parents be talking to their kids about this?
It's a great question. We have a great opportunity right now to talk with our children. And as a parent of 4 children that are going to be in the Mason City schools, I think that talking to our children openly and honestly about situations like we're talking about today, or other situations about differences that we see in our communities, and working with people that are different than us, and really having not only empathy but understanding their story. Specifically with my own children, we have a child with Down syndrome, so I talk to our boys a lot about being an advocate for speaking on his behalf and standing up with him. My children have cousins that are African American, and we talk about what it means to play a role and stand up and listen and be ready to do the right thing in those moments. And so I think being open, and that we're not alone. As parents, we are a community, and helping each other through those conversations is very important.
Gail, what can we all learn from this?
Well, I've certainly done a lot of soul searching myself, and a lot of reflection. I will say that I've heard from community members and staff members who have done the same. So I think the lesson learned here is that we need to do better. This is an opportunity for us to have an impact in a meaningful way, because what we want is for Mason City Schools to be a place for all of our students and our staff and our community members feel safe and feel valued. So it's a chance for us to do our best and to get better.
Thank you so much, all of us. I know this is the beginning of an important conversation that we're going to keep having, and so we appreciate our community helping be part of that conversation.